Good afternoon, parents and future Victorians. Welcome to day 2 of VJC e-Open House. We are really excited to have you all here with us today. I am Ashu, the Vice President of the Students' Council. Now, while we are waiting for more people to join, here is a quick introduction of today's webinar and a bit more about VJC. If you haven't seen it already, we have an e-Open House website where you can find out all there is to know about VJ, from sharings on academics in VJ to the vibrant student life awaiting our potential Victorians. You can find out about all that and more with just the click of a few buttons. Here is a QR code linking to our e-Open House website that you can scan and take a look at as we wait for the webinar to start. Hope you enjoy the videos created for you to get a glimpse of what VJ life is all about. Here are some key highlights of the website that you should definitely look out for. Under programs, we have curated articles that go through the key talent development programs offered in VJC that really help to boost our holistic education. We also have detailed videos prepared by our subject heads on a variety of topics like education and career guidance, CCA, as well as our very own student-initiated groups program known as 6 Square in VJC. If you're looking for more of an insight as to what makes our Victorian experience so vibrant, we have just the section for you. Over here, you can hear firsthand from the voices of VJ about everything there is to know about the Victorian experience. If you are curious about the various CCAs we have here in VJ, do check out our CCA section on the website, where we have some videos and write-ups prepared by the CCA leaders themselves. Do also check out our Instagram accounts at VictoriaJC_official, as well as the student-led account at the Victorian Verve for more updates on anything VJC. Additionally, we have also launched our TikTok account at the Victorian Verve, so do check it out for some really fun content. As you know, our theme for this year's open house is Vividly Victoria, and you will get a glimpse of just how vibrant we are when you pass by our college. If you happen to drive or walk by between 7 and 11 p.m. this weekend, do enjoy our campus lighted up in brilliant colors. While it's unfortunate that you won't be able to enter our campus, we would like to invite you to post a selfie with the amazing lights and tag us on Instagram with the hashtag #VividlyVictoria. At the end of the webinar today, we will have a Q&A segment where we will respond to your questions live. You can submit your questions via the Zoom Q&A function when prompted, and we will respond to your questions as soon as possible. Without further ado, let's head straight into the webinar for today. Coming up, we have webinar 2, where we will firstly invite our principal, Mr. Jeffrey Low, who will be sharing our college programs. After which, we will invite our respective program heads, who will be giving us a key insight into the different programs in VJ, such as education and career guidance, our arts and science courses, as well as student development. With that, I would like to invite Mr. Low to take it away. Mr. Low, please.
Right. Thank you, Ashu. Welcome to our second webinar. For those of you who joined us yesterday, welcome once again. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, very special welcome to all of you. During this session, we will highlight some of our key programs and the kind of experiences you would get if you join our Victorian family in VJC. For this session, I only want to highlight 3 things really about VJC. Now, firstly, VJC, as some of you know, was founded in 1984. And as you saw from the videos earlier, the one thing that has been the constant description of VJC's culture is really the vibrancy. You know, there's never a dull moment. In your 2 years with us, there'll be a huge calendar of events, programs, experiences that will run across your 2 years with us. Yeah, so this is certainly something that you can look forward to. Now, the second thing that I want to highlight, certainly in terms of a distinctive feature that has marked VJC since our founding, is really this tradition of excellence. Over the years in the academic domain, we have consistently produced excellent A-level results. So for example, at the 2020 GCE A-level exams, our students attained a median score of 85 rank points out of 90. Students, 117 students actually got the perfect score, and 2 out of 5 had 87.5 or more rank points. Now, this means is that the vast majority of students in VJC can get a place in the most competitive and the most attractive courses in university. Yeah, so that's something that we're very proud of. And the last thing I wanted to highlight today really is the student ownership that we have. You know, this year's open house or e-open house is really a prime example of this, where you will see numerous podcasts, videos, segments written, produced, and directed by Victorians. So when it comes to showcasing VJC, Victorians step forward with a great deal of pride and common purpose. So, you know, really this is something which many of you will experience if you come and join us. Yeah. So with that, I will hand you over to our cohort head for JC1, Ms. Yang, who will take you through student life in VJC. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the webinar.
Thank you, Mr. Loh. A very good afternoon to all. My name is Ms. Yang and I'm the cohort head for the incoming JC1 students. I'll now bring you through what student life is like at VJC. While we have our IP students, our doors remain open to O-level students like you who apply to us through the Joint Admission Exercise, or JE for short. In fact, the majority of our places, 60% of them, are reserved for JE students. And our JE students continue to come from more than 50 secondary schools across Singapore. Once you're admitted to VJC, you will be given equal opportunity for our programs, leadership and talent development, whether you are a JE student or an IP student. There is no segregation either. How you are placed in classes will depend on your subject combination choice. So don't worry, all right? I'm sure you'll make lots of friends when you're at VJC. We recognize that JC life is a hectic one, and we want you to be well rested and be ready for the day ahead. As such, lessons only begin at 8:40 on Mondays and 8 a.m. on the other days. Right? And if you stay in Sengkang, Punggol, Tampines, or Pasir Ris, we do have chartered school bus services that can bring you to VJC. We have a wide range of subject combinations available in both the arts stream as well as the science stream to cater to different interests and aptitude. And to support you in your learning, we have a team of dedicated and caring teachers who stand ready to help you. Our teachers are experienced, and some of them were even teaching in VJC when I was a student here 20 years ago. We also encourage self-directed learning, and to this end, we have SDL periods at the end of the day. These are protected academic time for you to catch up on your lectures and tutorials and to attend enrichment or consultations with your teachers. CCAs form an integral part of student life at VJC, and we have different types of CCAs for you to choose from. So first are the performing arts groups who organize the concert series in VJC every year. And last year, undeterred by the pandemic, our students pivoted online for their first online combined concert. Next are the sports teams who have a long tradition of sporting excellence. They train hard to bring glory to the college. And at the NSG finals, this is the time when you will experience the strong VJC school spirit when the entire college goes down to support our teams. And if you are into clubs and societies, we also have a wide range for you to choose from. Beyond the CCAs, our students can also initiate special interest groups where they can come together with like-minded friends to pursue a common interest. So these are the special interest groups. Some common questions that we get, is CCA compulsory? Do we earn points? How do I choose a CCA? And can I participate in more than one CCA? A quick response to this is that CCA is not compulsory in JC in the sense that there's no point system, unlike in the secondary schools. However, you are strongly encouraged to take part in one to enrich your school experience. And as long as you're able to juggle your academic work and your CCAs, you will be allowed to participate in more than one. Okay. So for a full list of CCAs available in our college, you can scan this QR code. I will end off with our college motto, Nil sine labore, which means nothing without labor. I'm sure this phrase would resonate with many of you, as you would have worked hard to achieve the excellent O-level results and therefore tuning into our webinar today. I therefore urge you to come join us at VJC, put us as your first choice, and embark on a fun and fulfilling JC journey with us. I'll now hand the time over to Mr. Ivan To, who will share with you ECG matters. Mr. Ivan To, please.
Thanks, Ms. Young, for the introduction. I'm Mr. Ivan To, the Head of Higher Education at VJC, and I'm here to talk a little bit more about education and career guidance at VJC. Right, so I think at VJC, we see ourselves as more than a school and college, right? We really want to be a pre-university, right, that helps our students in terms of their higher aspirations, right? And as a result of that, we really want to prepare our students to be future ready, right, to become future ready individuals who are prepared for this very uncertain and volatile world that we are now living in. As a result of that, we do have a very cohesive and comprehensive ECG program, right? It is really a three-pronged program led by higher education, career guidance, as well as scholarships at VJC. It's a little bit like 3-in-1 coffee, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of spice, everything nice, right? And really help our students build a comprehensive portfolio, right? In terms of starting that conversation, igniting the imagination, and hopefully helping them to also fulfill their aspirations in times to come. Right, as a result of that, over the years, we have also built up processes and platforms in place to help our students achieve their university as well as scholarships aspirations in targeted as well as competitive areas. Traditionally, of course, this would include places in law, in medicine, but increasingly as STEAM becomes part of our national narrative, we also have equipped and nurtured our students in terms of science, technology, engineering, arts, as well as math-related applications. We are very cognizant of the fact that many of you coming into our gates will be 16 and 17-year-olds, so the future may still be a little bit murky. We will do our best, therefore, to expose you to a wide range of opportunities that are out there via things like workshops, via things like industry visits, work attachments, as well as webinars, where we invite our industry leaders, partners, as well as universities to come down to share their opportunities and offerings to you as well, so that you are better equipped to answer key questions, right, such as who you are as an individual, where do you want to go in the future, and how exactly do you actually get there. In terms of the nitty-gritties of application, I think we have built up enough expertise over the years as well. We will be conducting things like workshops in-house to help you in terms of things like personal statements, portfolio building, CV building, as well as interview skills. We have also a dedicated team of teachers who will help you in terms of mentorship and feedback when the time comes for your applications. Having built a strong base of alumni over the years, we have also encouraged our alumni to come back, and they have generously done so to share their experiences in terms of either scholarships or also in terms of overseas and local opportunities that they have gained right through their experience, and to share these things with their juniors in time to come as well. So these are some of the collaborations with our partners that I've alluded to earlier in my sharing, right? So many of these, of course, are local universities which have been recognized by the Singapore government, and we have collaborated very strongly with them over the years, right? We've invited them to become part and parcel of our calendar, right? For instance, in July, we organized a higher education, careers and scholarships fair, where these universities, together with state boards and ministries, also do come down to share with our students their offerings. On top of that, we also have managed to place students in overseas universities, right? Some of our students are very interested in both the Ivy League as well as Russell Group universities in the US and UK accordingly, right? And over the years, we have built up competencies in these areas to support these aspirations as well, right? Some of our students are also very interested in more niche offerings in Japan, in Canada, right? For instance, Waseda University, right? In 2019, before COVID, we have actually brought students to Japan. Waseda University, right, opened their doors to us, welcomed us, and that is really the result of our collaboration over the years as well. In terms of talent development, I think we have built up a very strong culture of talent development at VJC. We have something called Project Advantage, where we help our students get an advantage in terms of their portfolio building exercises and also in terms of their scholarship and higher education aspirations. Through this program, we actually do have mentoring programs with teacher mentors attached to these students who will help them in terms of their discussions on education and career plans for their future. Right, I think one of the more memorable milestones and significant events can be seen on the screen, where we actually have one of the students, right, as part of the Project Advantage program, actually become a President Scholar in 2019, and is of course none other than Xiao Mian Yap, who we are all very familiar with. Last but not least, more than just processes and platforms, I think some of you may also be very interested in outcomes. So I'm very happy to share some of the very positive outcomes here on the screen as well. In terms of scholarship offerings, if you look at the column in red, many of our students actually do eventually get awarded these scholarships, right? From the very prestigious PSC scholarship to some of the Stat Board Ministry scholarships, even to research, right, scholarships, and also, of course, scholarships awarded by our universities. In terms of aspirations into universities, if you look at the column in black, actually almost every student within our cohort will eventually qualify for a course of study at a local university. And those who are applying to overseas aspirations, actually, if you look at the track record there, it is also very, very, very much successful, right? And in fact, in terms of scholarship offerings, close to 200 students each cohort receive some form of scholarship for university studies, right? So at the end of the day, I'm very happy to introduce these programs to you, right? Hopefully you'll come to us, right, so that you can build vibrant memories, vivid experiences, and really see how Victoria is indeed something more for our students. So I'm going to pass the time over to now Mrs. To, who will talk a little bit more about the science program at VJC.
Hello everyone, I'm Mr. To, the head of science for the incoming JC1 cohort. I'm all ready to share our exciting science programs with you. Okay, fun fact. Do you know that VJC offers up to 40 science subject combinations? The most popular being BCME and PCME, the double science combination with math and econs. We also offer one science, one math, and double humanities subjects in the science stream. This is known as the hybrid course. Do note that we do not offer science subjects in the art stream. Okay, besides the 3 standard science subjects offered at H1, H2, and H3 level, we also offer H3 NAV science research for those who aspire to use related skill sets to drive advancements in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. More on that in the next slide. Exceptional science students can also look forward to H3 modules offered by SMU, NTU, and NUS, such as game theory, molecular biology, and semiconductor physics and devices. VJC is one of the 3 colleges in Singapore that offers the unique H3 NAV Science Research Program in collaboration with our partners, NUS and A-STAR since 2006. Students in this program can look forward to an individual investigative study in interdisciplinary science under the mentorship of VJC teachers, as well as world-class research practitioners from NUS and A-STAR. Feel free to look up on our website for more details. Over here, Joel Chan was a student from the 2018 cohort. Graduated with a distinction in H3NAV, he was offered the prestigious A-star scholarship to study at Cambridge University. He did VJ proud and bagged numerous awards at various competitions. VJC has our own Science and Technology Center. It is a designated block on our campus, housing labs and well-equipped learning spaces. Are you ready for a taste of authentic research? As a science student, you can be involved in our talent development program and expect unique experiences such as in-house research opportunities, learning journeys to STEM-related industries, customized training in science and math Olympiads, and participation at the prestigious Singapore Science and Engineering Fair. Through our talent development program, your passion in STEM will be ignited, as well as leadership skills and 21st CC strengthened. Keen to manifest your passion in science? Come, join us for an exciting journey of discovery. If you have any further questions, please use the live Q&A later to ask questions or the chat function. I'll now pass the time over to Ms. Goh to talk about the arts program.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to tell you a bit about the arts program in VJC. We have many subjects in the arts. Even though we are a very small faculty, we have a total of 11 subjects. So as you can see, besides the traditional subjects of English literature, geography, history, economics, and art, we do have things like Chinese language and literature, Tamil language and literature, as well as rather niche subjects like CSE, China Studies in English, and Theatre Studies. Okay. Now, all students in VJC Arts will have to do mathematics as their contrasting subject, right? And as Mrs. Stoh has mentioned, we will not be we don't offer science subjects in the arts faculty in VJC. However, not to worry, you will find that you still have many combinations available to you, right? So if you are interested in the more traditional humanities subjects like literature, history, you can take it, right? And maybe with theater or with economics, okay, and math as your contrasting subject. Or if you are not that keen on the pure humanities, you want to do a more social science type of art subjects, you can do geography, economics, CSE, and with math, right? We also offer H3 subjects, which will be taught by our teachers if you are taking the Cambridge International Exam subjects there, like art, economics, geography, history, and lit. But if you want something that's different, you can head to the local universities, right, and do the modules that they offer for the humanities. Now, in the arts faculty here at VJC, we do also want to stretch your potential, right? Because you are embarking on a pre-university journey. So here we have 3 programs. The first would be the humanities program, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a while. Then you have the regional studies program, as well as our theatre studies and drama elective program. Now, our humanities program consists of scholars selected by MOE, right, we are one of the 8 humanities centers in the nation. Students must offer English literature, right? And once if they come in to VJC and get the scholarship, okay, we have a special program designed to help them expand their humanities boundaries. So for instance, all the scholars will be mentored, okay, by humanities teachers. They will have opportunities for research in their areas of interest. They can do presentations, right, to the school, to the juniors, to their peers. We have a humanities symposium. Scholars are also encouraged to attend humanities-related workshops, seminars, and even competitions organized by external parties. We, of course, used to have pre-COVID an annual trip, right, for the humanities scholars. Likewise, the Regional Studies Scholarship Program consists of a scholarship offered by MOE. Students must pursue history at H2 level because the Regional Studies Program is very centered on Southeast Asian studies, okay? We also have annual trips, okay, pre-COVID. This RSP program is only offered in 3 JCs, right, nationally. And there is a prerequisite, okay? You must have done the Malay special program or Bahasa Indonesia at the O levels, right? You don't have to be a scholar at the O levels, but if you had offered either of those subjects, you can come to VJC and we will guide you to apply for the A-level RSP scholarship. This is an interesting program because really you get immersed, right, in Malay, Indonesian culture, right? You get to go for local field trips. You get to look at the cultural aspects, right, of their music. You can get to also taste food-wise, okay, the food of our ethnic groups. Lastly, our signature program here in the arts, it would be the Theatre Studies and Drama Elective Program. VJC is actually the pioneer in TSD. We have many alumni, right, from TSD who have gone on to become locally famous actors, directors, film critics, okay, and some of them have even gone international, right? Now in TSD, you have, of course, the essay component where you will get knowledge of theater practices from around the world, right? And there is also the practical component where you have individual and group presentations. You can dabble in acting, lighting, you can dabble in set design, costume design, makeup. So it is a very interesting subject to pursue at the A levels. Right, so why do the humanities? I think that if you are somebody who is keen on a broader based education, okay, if you want to be pushed, right, in terms of your critical thinking, to gain cultural understanding, creativity, and to communicate well, communicate better, you should actually give humanities a go, and do come and join us at VJC, because even though the arts faculty is a small one, we are very loud and we are very proud and we are thriving. Thank you very much. Next, we will be going over to Mr. Seat.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Mr. Seat. I'm the head of student development. So, for sure, Victoria is something more. Here in Victoria JC, Victorians work hard and play hard, and very much of JC life occurs beyond and outside the classroom. Now, the students interact with one another and grow their 21 core competencies as they participate in class, in CCA, and college activities. Now, there are many events throughout the calendar year to help build class spirit, a sense of belonging, and a pride in their own identity and community, something vividly Victorian. Student enrichment. Victorians have many opportunities to learn new skills. They find expression and passion through different activities like Filling Fab, V Academy, Project V, and CCA related activities. They get hands-on training and have a go at something that they don't do normally on an ordinary day. And most of these activities are actually student-led. Student well-being. Now, the transition from secondary school to a JC is sometimes rocky, and it takes time for everyone to settle in. However, there are teachers, school counselors, peer support leaders, class representatives, school leaders, student leaders, and CCA friends who are always on the lookout for one another to help their friends settle down. Now, Victorians encourage one another and are a pillar of support for their fellow students. Now, when it comes to the crunch, sometimes as near the exams, students reach out and naturally cooperate and work together to overcome all the challenges. I must say, VJC has a very strong and supportive parent support group. Now, they are very active and certainly very generous. They offer snacks and goodie bags to brighten our days, that for staff too. Now, they also provide networks to help provide many learning opportunities for our young Victorians. Of course, we have a team of very caring and dedicated teachers. Now, the teachers in Victoria JC play multiple roles as they move in and about the college all day long. Face-to-face consultation, mentoring, guiding. It is not unusual for teachers to be seen in school, even after school hours. Our illustrious alumni also take time to share their life experiences, offer words of encouragement, wisdom for our young Victorians. Student leadership. The Students' Council is the apex of student leadership. Now, they lead by example, they organize school-wide events, and they serve by providing for the welfare and well-being of students. They keep the Victorian spirit high, and they excel in enhancing the overall VJC college experience. Student empowerment. Victorians are empowered to make a difference. They take ownership and carry out projects to create their own legacy. Many chipped in to paint a sports gallery. The art club used their skills to create a portrait of the house icons, and Victorians painted the walkway to welcome all who stepped into our compound with the lyrics of the college anthem. Now, Victorians take charge in organizing events, showcasing their unique talents, and create a vibrant and colorful college experience. Values in action. In spite of the pandemic, our Victorians continue to contribute to our community. Other than the numerous class service learning ventures, there was also an old clothes donation drive, and Victorians also participated in the Active SG's National Dance Workout in collaboration with Southeast CDC 3M Moves. And in the last slide, you can see our school leaders modeling the way. Now, VJC is truly a place where Victorians learn, grow, and excel. They lead, they serve, and excel. And it is truly like a second family and a second home. It's vividly Victoria. Thank you. Now I will hand over the time to Mr. Wu for the Q&A session.
Thank you, Mr. Seed. Good afternoon, parents, future Victorians. My name is Russell Wu. I'm HOD Cohort Head as well as ICT. I'll be facilitating today's Q&A session. We have with us our principal, Mr. Jeffrey Low, vice principals, the 5 presenters that you've heard earlier, Ms. Yang, who is the cohort head for GC1, Mr. Ivan Toh, subject head for higher education, Mrs. Toh, HOD Science, Ms. Goh, HOD Arts, as well as Mr. Seed, HOD Student Development. Actually, we also have with us Mr. Lim, who is the subject head for CCA, who will be here to answer some of your CCA related questions. Now, please feel free. I can see many questions coming in via the Q&A function. Feel free to type in your questions, and we will either answer them live or we will answer them via this function, the question and answer function. Before I invite some of the speakers to answer the questions directly, I would like to answer some questions that are posted to us either here or via the Open House website. I think Shakana and Zhiyong, amongst others, asked about cutoff points. The cutoff point you see in the JE booklet is last year's cutoff point. That serves as a very good guide of what will come this year. Usually, cutoff points do not change from year to year. So if you've met the cutoff point, then we strongly encourage you to apply to us. Should you not meet the cutoff point, like I said, that was last year's cutoff point. Last year was 7 and 8 were last year's. We would recommend that if you really want to choose, have a spread of JCs to apply to. You can still choose us as the first choice, but like I said, the cutoff will usually not change from year to year. What about, I think Kit Xiang also asked a question about hybrid combination. If you want to take the hybrid combination, I think just now Mrs. Stowe mentioned, if you want to take the hybrid combination, you would have to apply to the science stream. There's also a question on how many or how frequent. I would assume that you're asking how many students actually take the hybrid combination. Rest assured that if there are enough spaces for hybrid combination, no problem. If you choose that and you have met the subject requirements as well as met the selection test, if any, we will let you offer the hybrid combination. Not a problem at all. There's also a question, Zhiyong, on number of students. All right, number of students. Every year we do have, last year actually JC2, we have 32 classes, each of 20 to 25 students. So that makes up almost 750 students every year. Okay, I think before I invite Ms. Yang to talk about blended learning, there is some questions maybe on general school life and blended learning. I just answer one more thing on bus service. Currently, I think just now, I think Ms. Yang also mentioned, we do have bus service, morning only bus service, shuttle bus service from 4 locations currently. Pasir Ris, Tampines, Sengkang, and Punggol. That's a morning only shuttle bus service. More details can be found when you join us. So maybe Ms. Yang can elaborate a little bit about how we learn here in VJC. Over to you, Ms. Yang.
Thank you, Mr. Wu. Right, so this is about blended learning in VJC. Right, so just to give you some context, so when the pandemic started, all schools, including VJC, we had to make adjustments to our teaching and learning programs. Right, so the traditional mass lectures were no longer allowed to take place, and they continue to be suspended till today. Right, so in place of the big group lectures, we now have recorded lectures that students can view during the SDL periods. SDL which stands for self-directed learning. On top of that, we also sometimes conduct live lectures, and so this is the part on the lectures to replace the old traditional mass lectures that we used to have. All right. Of course, students still get to meet their tutors. We have face-to-face tutorials for all subjects, so that is still in place, right? So not to worry, as I said, our teachers are very experienced, right? If you do have any difficulty catching up on recorded lectures and live lessons, you will have the chance, okay, to meet your tutors during the tutorial periods to seek clarifications. All right.
Thanks, Ms. Yang. That's right. We do have very dedicated team of very dedicated teachers. In fact, a lot of students stay back after school. One of the participant actually asked whether there's a library, and of course, like to elaborate that many students stay back in school to study and consult teachers. All right. Before I invite Mr. Lim to talk about some CCA matters, I think CCA is also utmost on some of your mind. I talk a little bit about computing. There's a question on computing. Yeah, may I recall the question? Yeah, okay. What is required to be able to place in a computing course besides the test? The short answer to it is that you do not have to have any you do not need to take O-level computing in order to qualify for computing at H2. All right, you just have to take the selection test, and if you pass, if you clear the selection test, you will be able to offer computing at H2 level. Yeah, okay, maybe I pass the time over to Mr. Lim, who will say a little bit more about, I know Ms. Yang already said a bit about CCA, but maybe Mr. Lim can talk about a bit more about CCA. Mr. Lim.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Wu. I just want to answer a question here on whether CCAs are compulsory and your worry about being very competitive. Now, CCAs are not compulsory. Ms. Yang has already shared with us, but why do you want to join a CCA in JC? Basically, is to hone your interpersonal skills, your organizational skills, leadership skills, and more importantly, to forge lasting friendships. Because outside the classroom, you also want to develop yourself holistically in terms of dealing with each other. Now, in terms of also trying to answer other questions like how many CCAs we have, we do have a wide array of CCAs. Do check out our website for all the details. And in addition, if you have seen the presentation, we also have student-initiated activities that you can undertake. So really, in VJC, you have a lot of opportunities in that sense, right? There are also some questions about whether you can take more than one. Well, it really depends. Depends firstly on the schedule. If you take on 2 CCAs and somehow they clash, of course, that's not nice. It also depends on whether you can manage your CCA commitments with your studies, right? There was also a question on whether you can continue CCAs from secondary school. I'm not quite sure because it wasn't specified, but I think you could be referring to uniform groups. If you are, you can continue with your uniform groups. But ideally, we would prefer you to take a CCA in VJC because this is where we can help you grow. We can observe your growth and walk the journey with you as you forge more friendships with fellow Victorians. I think basically that's all I have. Thank you very much, Mr. Wu.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lim. Yeah, indeed, CCA is really an integral part of student life here in the college. There are some questions regarding how is the general school life like? What time does school end? Maybe at this point, I would like to invite Ashul, J2 student, our Students' Council Vice President, to take this question. It's better to hear from a student's point of view rather than just from teachers. Yeah. Okay, Ashul, please.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Wu. So I'm a PCME student, so I take physics, chemistry, math, and economics. And generally, on most days, I will end around 1 p.m. or at most 3 p.m. But even on the days where I end at 3 p.m., generally I have a lot of breaks in between. So I never usually feel tired, and I'm able to get a lot of rest in between my lessons. So in terms of time-wise, schedule is definitely very manageable. We also have this periods called self-directed learning periods on each day, which give us a lot of flexibility in terms of how we want to take our education journey in VJ. So maybe just to give a little bit of context as to how we as students generally go through our lectures is we have our lectures all recorded online for us to view. And these SDL periods, the self-directed learning periods, come in handy for us to view our lectures and prepare ourselves in preparation for our lessons. And when we come for face-to-face lessons with our teachers, they are for tutorial sessions where we go through questions and any doubts and queries that that we may have with our teachers. So as PCME students, definitely I really enjoy our timetable where we have really a lot of that flexibility to just take as much time as you want to explore and learn the subjects and topics that we need, and to put more time and effort in the subjects that we may need more help in as well. Yeah, thank you. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Ashul. Yes, now you hear from the horse's mouth the students' perspective. There are a lot of questions on computing. Maybe I take one question on computing before I pass the time over to Mr. Seed, because there are also a lot of questions about bus service. There's a question on computing. Maybe it applies to those subjects that require selection tests. There are some subjects that require selection tests before you can actually take them. That includes computing, art, theatre studies, as well as China studies in English. So the tests will actually, when you join us, only when you join us, then we will administer the test. You will usually be on the first or second day. Do you really need to prepare? Actually, there's no need to prepare. When you come in, it will just be a general aptitude test. All right. So maybe at this point, I invite Mr. Seat to talk a little bit about the bus service. Mr. Seat, please.
Hi, thank you for your questions about bus service. So I assume that most of you are staying, for example, at this moment, we are talking about the 4 destinations will be Sengkang, Pasir Ris, Sengkang, Punggol, Pasir Ris, Tampines. So traditionally, so far, we have had service from Sengkang and Punggol. So Pasir Ris and Tampines are new additions. So typically, the fee for the service is between $80 to $100. $80 to $100. Now, how are the pickup points decided? Okay, what happens is after you join us and you indicate interest in this transport service is between the bus provider and yourself. I think then that's where the communication between yourself and the provider will decide whether it's a central location or whether the bus provider is able to accede to your request to pick them up. So typically they will agree on a certain location for where most students are able to access, and then that's a win-win situation for the provider and for the students. I hope I've answered your question.
Thanks, Mr. Seed. Thank you so much. I think it started off really the bus service with, like what he said, Mr. Seed said, it started with Sengkang Punggol, which is one drop-off, one pickup point. Very soon, students wanted to join, and we managed to make an arrangement with the private bus company. Yeah. Okay. Now, also a question on H1 and H2. I'm addressing Mandy's question. Is there any requirement for students intending to take 4 H2 subjects? If the quick answer is that all students who are admitted via the JAE will be allowed to start with 4 H2 subjects. Of course, barring any subject requirements and admission tests, you can start with all four subjects at H2. So there's also a question that I saw coming in from the open house website, that what is the percentage of students who continue with 4 H2 in GC2? Well, I would say that at the end of GC2, there are some students who decide on their own that dropping one of the subject to H1 make it more manageable, and that will be done throughout the 2 years. So if you decide that one of the subjects you would like to drop to H1, of course, you may do so. All right, I'm also browsing some of the questions here. Again, there are some questions from Mr. Vankatasan. Sorry, my pronunciation may not be too good, about admission, the cutoff points. Maybe I reiterate again, maybe it's for some of us who have missed that part of it. Like I said, the cutoff point you see on the JE booklet, that was last year's cutoff point. That serves as a very, very good guide. It will not usually do not change. If you meet the cutoff point, then we strongly encourage you to apply to VJC as the first choice. Yeah. If you do not, then you can still apply, but take note that usually it will not change year on year. All right, let me browse through some of the questions as well. There are some questions on China studies in English. if you fail the test, what happens? I will answer that question as well, together with the other subjects which require admission tests. That includes art, that includes computing, and of course, China Studies in English. If you do not clear, then there's always other combinations. We offer a lot of subject combinations. So you can still choose your second choice subject combination. All right. Let me browse through some other questions. Let's see. There's a question on actually medical school. Maybe I would, before I invite Mr. Ivan To to talk a little bit about university requirements for, course requirements on whether it's medical school. I think earlier he also answered on law school. Maybe I give Mr. To a little bit of time before he take that question. Yeah, there's a question on medical school and law school. Maybe Mr. To can take that question.
Hi. Thank you for the question. I think many of you are very interested in things like subject combinations and especially choosing the correct subject combination in relation to your future aspirations. For courses like law, right, I think some of you asked about that earlier on. Law has no specific subject prerequisite per se, right? But you do need to have a good grade in GP to enter both SMU as well as NUS law. In relation to medicine, they do have certain subject prerequisites that are required. So for instance, you will need to offer H2 chemistry and another science, right? So the other science can be H2 physics or H2 biology, right? So these are of course the hard subject requirements that are needed to enter these places. But at the same time, because these are very competitive courses, the schools and universities will usually also require, right, the students to actually provide, for instance, a portfolio, right, teacher references, and also to sit down for interviews in order to suss out whether or not they have the personal qualities and competencies needed to excel in these courses. Yeah, so hopefully that also helps to answer your question.
Thank you very much, Mr. To. Thank you for that question. Thank you for answering that question. In the interest of time, there are still quite only a few unanswered questions. We will probably end this Q&A now. Thank you so much for your questions. We do apologize if there are some unanswered questions. Do get in touch with us. But before I end, I would like to emphasize again that the cutoff point you see in your JEE booklet was last year's cutoff point. If you meet the cutoff point, then there's a good chance that you will get in. But this year's cutoff point, it really depend on demand and supply, depend on your applications, all of your friends and your peers. We strongly encourage you to apply. But I said this year's cutoff point may change slightly. We really do not know. All right. Okay. We've come to the end of this Q&A. Thank you, future Victorians parents. We really hope that you find this session useful and informative. Before I end this session, do a bit of advertising, a little bit more. Do visit our nicely done up open house website. It's really done by our students. And if we didn't manage to answer your questions, do get in touch with us via the open house website, as well as our email over there. You can see there, and you can scan the QR code. You can take a quick picture of our email. Please get in touch with us. Also, you can see the next slide. Yeah, this is our social media. Do follow us on TikTok, on Instagram. There are 2 Instagram accounts there, and as well on TikTok. Yeah, new on TikTok. Okay. And finally, lights. Actually, lights will be turned on. These lights you can see very beautiful. VJC, it looks very beautiful not only in the day but also at night. Yeah, lights will be turned on from 7 to 11 p.m. all throughout the weekend. Please drive past. Unfortunately, you can't enter the college. Please drive past, take a walk. If you happen to be along East Coast Park, just find us, cycle, walk, jog to our college and take a photo. And of course, can tag us on Instagram, please. Yes. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. See you.